I want to make a video about what it's like having DID, which is formerly known as multiple personality disorder. I don't think a lot of people really know what it's like on a daily life. No, I'm not doing my makeup or hair. This is real life, not a popularity contest like on all the rest of TikTok and every social media, so I don't care what I look like. If you're interested in this subject, please watch the video. How you get DID is from abuse whenever you're really little, like has to be basically under the age of 6, consistent abuse, not just a few times, usually sexual. And what it does is, during that time, your personality is forming, and it causes it to split into breaks and kind of form different sections. And especially, like for instance, if you have somebody that's abusing you and you're only 4, your brain will oftentimes try to take on the role of the abuser, and we call that a persecutor personality, where since we don't have the power, we try and take on the personality of the person who does have the power. That's one example of the type, but it's typically the brain kind of running away to escape whatever is happening and becoming somebody new. What it sounds like in my head is like right now we have a few conversations going on in the background. I have 17 personalities, and there's a few conversations that are going on. One of them, a lot of them are talking about going to the hospital. That was a big deal, about trying to decide to go to the hospital today or not. It'll sound like you can't really hear them, kind of like you're in a cafe and you're hearing other people talking. And so I hear all these other people talking in the background, but there's a front, and that's the person who is up front talking out of my mouth. And that can change very quickly. That can change within a sentence. Some days it changes very, very rapidly, like every 5 minutes, turning into somebody new. I call that Rolodexing. I want to introduce you to all of us. That'll take a minute because it's 17 people. Let me get my pad. So every single person is very different. They have their own names, their own ages, their own sexualities, genders, everything about them is different. It's nothing like, whenever I get drunk, I get a little silly, I turn into somebody else. No, it's not like that at all. These are fully formed, functional people inside my head that can come into the front and take over. The main protector that I have right now is called Cleve. He's been around the longest. He was the first one to start surfacing. He was a persecutor personality. He was made after my abuser, and for a long time he wasn't a good man. Over about 7 years of therapy, he has now become a good protector of the system, but for a long time he was very bad, and he was having me not do good things in life and get with very abusive people and get myself in very dangerous situations. Next we have a Morton Joe. He's polybisexual male. Cleve's a straight male. Immortan Joe is more the just kind of funny one of the group. He's a protector as well. He's mainly there to protect the littles. I named him after the guy from Mad Max, but he really looks like Toe Cutter from the original Mad Max. It's the same actor. The next one is with Teeth. That was a very sexual personality that I had for a long while I was camming. It's a non-human. There can be non-human alters too. There can be animals. This one is kind of like almost a demon, you could say. And it served its purpose back in the time. But also got me into a lot of trouble and caused a lot of problems in my life. And there's Lion. That's the mother me. That's the one who takes care of my babies. And I can always have, whenever my babies need help, Mother Me comes out. Or if they need anything, Mother Me takes care of it. Jessica, she is a 14, 16-year-old girl. She's very edgy, likes to wear makeup thick, likes to dress goth, has a lot of attitude. There's Abby, who's a lesbian. She is a 100% total man hater. She hates all men. And this causes a lot of problems in the system because she tries to break up with my boyfriend a lot, and because she doesn't trust men at all, doesn't matter who they are, and it's not her sexuality. So then there's Rebecca. That's what I consider the main me, or the me that I've been. Hold on. Rebecca is a monogamist, bisexual, and she is borderline. You see, the different personalities can have their own sets of disorders, such as Cleve and Immortan Joe are kind of sociopathic, narcissistic. There's me, Rebecca. I can tell I'm very borderline. I've had to do a lot of borderline therapy to stop a lot of certain things. Then I have one called the sociologist. That's very much me whenever I love sociology, so I study it a lot, and I have a lot of feelings about how the world operates and runs, and our government, and that one usually comes out on social media whenever I'm trying to get certain points across of how I feel about social movement. Then I have the disabled. That's me that has very severe speech issues, can hardly talk. It kind of comes out in the very worst of times. It's been a long time since it has, though, but it's you can tell a definite difference in my speech and my mental capabilities. I have Boomer, that is a old man. He's around 54. His real name is David, but we all call him Boomer in the system. We personally didn't like that personality being around, so we put him in the basement for a long time, kind of like in the show The Office, where they put the one guy in the basement. But he does serve quite a purpose now for helping with my parents. Then I have the Fountain. That is another non-human alter. It's whenever I do these ticks and I basically become this fountain pouring out ambrosia. It's, for some reason, that's a big deal with me. Ambrosia leaking out of my mouth, ambrosia coming out. It's it goes along with teeth, and it kind of feels like a possession type thing. Then I have Brittany, Eleanor, and Jeanette. Those are the littles. They're the main kind of trauma holders. They're the ones who went through it all. They're very quiet to themselves. When it comes to being around people, I do not show it very often, but basically I watch a lot of kid movies, and you can see behind me I collect lots of stuffies, and there's toys everywhere throughout here, so it's a lot of that's a lot of taking care of the littles. Then I have the overseer. This is a kind of a person who watches the whole system all the time, who is always watching, always watches with my eyes, watches people. We have to make sure that people are safe, and so it gathers the information over time and reveals it to the system to show what people are safe to be around, what people aren't, how to, handle situations by a whole scope. I have Joanna. She's like a 42-year-old woman, very on top of it, lives by herself, owns cats. I don't like cats. I have a dog and a hamster. But yes, she's a very clean woman, very put together, very businesswoman. Then recently I kind of developed one that is a bit of a mock-up from my mother. She has very severe mental problems. She is one of the ones who has caused my DID by not handling situations. And I kind of take on a lot of the traits that are about her, mainly because I'm living here and with my parents now. I lost my house. And the thing is, whenever you put yourself in traumatic situations or you're around abusive people, your body will make new alters. That's why usually people with DID, they start off with just a few, but then they gain more over the years. It's like I started off with just 2, and now I have 17 going on 18. So that's the whole system. We call it a family system because we are all supposed to be a family. Do we all get along? No. Do we like each other? No. Do we like being around each other? No. But if we want to get better, we have to learn that we are a family in the one body, and we have to learn to get along together. My house is very much, or my brain is very much like a house. Like I have the living room, which is the front, outside my eyeballs and who talks out of my mouth. Multiple people can be in the living room, so it's called co-consciousness. And then I have all the bedrooms that they can go back to, or some people will stay in them for a long time and not come out to the living room for a long time. And you can hear all the noises. Like I said, it's very much like a cafe with all kinds of noises, and then occasionally people coming up and talking to you. Sometimes you're the one talking. You can hear the conversations other people are having. Sometimes you can't because they're too far away. It's very much like a house inside my head. One thing that's very hard about being all these multiple people, I find it a struggle just in daily life, just to get through the day, and not cause issues or have issues. There's a lot of problems that come with it that you wouldn't even think of. Like, for instance, having males in my system. Sometimes the males want to be out front, and they hate being in the female body, but they're stuck in the female body. And so one of the things they'll do is they won't shower for months so that I stink like a man. And they enjoy that. They enjoy dressing like a man. They know that I do not look like a man. I'm quite short. So, but I'll wear male clothing and do whatever I can to try and imitate being a man. One of the main problems about this disorder is the forgetfulness. It's one of those things that it's so bad that regularly my boyfriend will talk to me and tell me like things we've done, or he'll be like, oh yeah, I remember we've been to this place, or we met this person. I've just gotten to the point where I just am like, oh yeah, but the truth is I never do. I never remember. The only time I really remember is if I actually go to the place, and that's whenever I can like see and kind of get the memory of who was there, because each personality stores their own memories, and so it's very hard to access certain memories. It's like I said, it's really just gotten to the point where I just pretend I remember things. I have no friends. I've been trying to make friends for years, but it's very impossible. The way the different me's come out, they have different opinions, so my opinions always seem to be contradicting each other. Whenever certain personalities come out, they're rude. They won't remember things about people. That's one of the things that comes with the forgetfulness, is it's a very strange way that it happens. Like, for instance, with my boyfriend, a lot of times I won't know him. Hold on. They bug me all the time. Everybody here bugs me. I'm just trying to take a day where nobody is bothering me, because I really needed to go to the hospital, but instead I stayed home, because there's a lot of bad things about going to the hospital. Maybe I'll get into that. Anyway, so yeah, with my boyfriend, I won't remember him. Like, I'll know who he is, I'll know he's an important person in my life, I'll know that we've been together for a long while, but I don't remember anything about him. I don't remember what kind of man he is. I have a hard time with the fact that he's my boyfriend with certain personalities, especially the males, and Abby, the lesbian. So it makes it very hard to even get to know people. Like, to make friends is, almost impossible, because to remember things about them takes a long time. And then to also figure out if they're safe takes a long time. It takes a lot of being around them, having the overseer watch, collecting information, all of us having a meeting together and talking. We need to have constant communication, which I'm not very good at. A lot of times I find it just a struggle to live, but some people are able to have like regular meetings inside their head to, adjust information. So it'll take me sometimes a long time to find out if a person is good or bad. And I have a lot of paranoia, so often people are bad, and I just block them and never talk to them again. My day is usually watching the same things 24/7. And, they have that meme that goes around that talks about, it's joking that you might be autistic or mentally ill if you watch the same shows over and over again. But people aren't understanding what that means. It's not, no, this is my comfort show, I watch it a lot. No, it means the same thing over and over and over. For about a year, I lived off of Always Sunny in Philly. Right now, I basically switch around between being Puppy Cat, the movie Joker, the movie Midsommar. That one's kind of been a new one that I've popped on the list, and when I say I watch them a lot, I mean like hundreds of times. Like hundreds. I don't really take in new media very often. It's really hard to. It's hard to sit down and watch a movie. Movies are often filled with a lot of emotions and different things, and it's hard to kind of keep up. So I just prefer to watch the old stuff and have my brain already know what's coming. The PTSD is what's really getting me, and that's exactly what this disorder is PTSD, or you could say CPTSD, which is complex PTSD. It's split into different parts. It's much more complex than a simple PTSD, but it's very much like when a war vet experiences it and they think they're back in the war. Well, it's just like that. Like, I've had a lot of abuse in my life, and so whenever something happens that's, say, like a little similar to that abuse in some way, it takes me right back there, and I'm there again. And I don't see the people in front of me as the people in front of me. I see them as the bad people and the trauma that I've dealt with, and I take it out on them, plain and simple. I usually get very upset, very anxious, very in the moment of that past time, and it takes quite a while to clear things up and get me to understand that I'm here now and I'm in a safe place. That's a little what I'll do for right now. I'll probably do another one about what it's actually like inside the mental hospital. I would really love some comments from people, especially if you have DID, and if you have any kind of advice or have any of your own little stories about it. I would really appreciate it, because I literally get no socialization except for my kids and my boyfriend. So it's really nice to connect with people on some kind of level. Or if you're a person that doesn't have DID and you just have questions, I would really appreciate that. I could make videos on that. Thank you for taking the time to watch this. Please follow. I really want to be able to go live one day eventually, but I have been stuck at 458 followers for almost a year. So please follow. I know my content is all over the place, but that is because I am all over the place. Thank you.